Thank you for joining us. This is part 3 of our teaching that we're doing on the name of the Mashiach, as far as if it's the suffix of Shua or Shah that we should be using. And we left off we discussed in our last session about the name. First of all, the name could not have been, or the Mashiach's name could not have been Yeshua, which most Messianic believers use that term to address the Mashiach. But that name is not Hebrew. You will not find it in a Hebrew lexicon as far as being a proper name. It is, a Hebrew word which means they cry. We talked about in our last session in Psalm chapter 18 verse 41, you'll find that King David used the word they cried, and the Hebrew word that he used was Yeshua. If you look that up, you'll be able to verify that. So it's not a proper name. And it definitely was not a name that was not a proper Hebrew name. Let me put it that way. It was Yeshua is a Aramaic word or name that was used shortened from the Joshua, who you know is Joshua the son of Nun. His name was changed throughout the scripture after the Babylonian captivity. You see the name being changed and shortened, but the Mashiach's name is you never see the word Yeshua attached to the Mashiach's name. I mean, being identified with the Mashiach anywhere in Scripture. You will find Yahusha as the name that was given by Yahuwah in Zechariah chapter 6 verse 11 and 12. That it was a foreshadowing of talking about the high priest Yahushadek, which we talked about as being translated as Yahuwah is our righteousness. He is the son of Yahushadek. Well, who does that sound like? I mean, that's talking about the Mashiach. That's talking about the Messiah. And if you look this up, you'll find that it's spelled with 5 letters. Now, the only way you'll find it spelled with 6 letters is by means of the vowel pointing, which changes it to Yahushua. But the name that's given and the name that's without the vowel points is Yahusha. And so, and in fact, we've talked about this, that you'll only find 2 places in the scriptures where Yahushua is being used, and you'll find the word Yahusha over 216 times throughout the Tanakh. And of course, that's most of the times is making reference to the son of Nun, because the son of Nun, Joshua, who you know is Joshua, and the Mashiach had the same name, Yahusha. And we talked about in our first teaching how that Joshua or Yahusha's name was changed. Originally was Husha, and it was not Hushua, it was Husha. You can look this up in Numbers chapter 13 verse 16 to verify that the original name, and it was changed by Moses or Masha to Yahusha, and he did it by adding the first letter of the Creator's name, the letter Yod. And so even with that, but keep in mind, when we talk about this, because people relate that they know that the son of Nun, Joshua the son of Nun, and the Mashiach had the same Hebrew name, they get it confused because they see where that Joshua's name was, say, shortened to Yeshua, and thinking that that's okay then to call the Mashiach Yeshua. But see, that's not pure Hebrew, it's Aramaic, and it's not even a proper Hebrew name. And we talked about in Acts chapter 26, we read this last week, or last session, about on the road to Damascus, the Apostle Paul was confronted by the Mashiach, and he said that the Mashiach spoke to him, and it's very interesting that would just be included, that he said that the Mashiach spoke to him in the Hebrew tongue or the Hebrew language. Why even mention that unless it was important for us to understand that when the Mashiach gave his name, because Paul or Shua said, "Who are you?" And then our English translations, it says, "I am Jesus, who you persecute." But we know that that's not the Mashiach's name. He actually spoke to him in Hebrew, and he had to have said Yahusha was his name, being that Yahusha is Hebrew and not Yeshua. So now, one thing that confuses a lot of people is because when you look up in your concordance, if you look up, first of all, if you look up the word or the name Jesus in your concordance, it's going to give you the Greek letter G2424, and then when you look that up, it's going to tell you that it comes from the Greek word Jesus. The Latin word is Jesus. Originally in the King James, that's the way it read. It was actually would have to have been pronounced Jesus, because it wasn't spelled with a J, it was spelled with an I, and it's spelled I-E-S-V-S or I-E-S-U-S is the way it's spelled in the original King James 1611 Bible. So it had to be pronounced Jesus, because that's the only way that you could have said his name. Well, we know that the Creator didn't give the Mashiach a name as a Latin name, Jesus, nor would he given him a Greek name, Jesus. So, but if you look this up, it's going to refer you that this name is originated in Hebrew, and the Hebrew name they're going to give you is Hebrew number 3091, which is going to, when you look that up, now here's something you need to really understand, because this is where a vast amount of confusion has taken place. Strong's Concordance translated the scriptures, or and all his translations, and that he uses, even the transliteration of words, is based on the Masoretic text, meaning the vowel points, and that's what he used in his translations. Being that we understand that the Masoretic text was corrupted as far as being able changing the way that names were pronounced, we know that our Creator's name, if you look up the Creator's name, it will give 2 or 3 different variations of how to pronounce his name. And that's because they use different vowel points to change the way the name would be pronounced. Well, the same thing has happened with the Mashiach, or the Messiah's name. Now, when you look up, again, it'll refer you to the Hebrew number 3091, which is, it'll tell you that it's Yahushua. But here's something you really need to look at. It tells you the etymology of this name, in other words, where it came from, the root of it, is from Hebrew number 3068, that's Yahuwah's name. 3068 is the Hebrew numbers that you would look up to find Yahuwah's name. And then it says, and 3467, which is the Hebrew word Yasha. It doesn't say Shua, it says Yasha. Why? Why even a third grader could figure this out, that when you put Yahuwah and Yasha together, you get Yahusha, not Yahushua, because the Hebrew number here, 3467, is the Hebrew word for salvation, not Shua. Shua has a different Hebrew number. It's 7768, 7769, which means to cry out. It also has a meaning of wealth or riches, but predominantly it's mainly used for the word of to cry out, is what the word Shua means. Now it's been vowel pointed to also mean the word vain. You'll find this in Exodus chapter 20 verse 7 in the 3rd commandment, where it says that we're not to take the Creator's name in vain. The English translation says vain, but the Hebrew word is vowel pointed to sound Shava, but it actually is spelled Shua the same way that you would spell Shua with a shin, shin ua, and a ayin. That's how you would spell it, and that's how it's spelled. It's actually spelled with shin shin ua, and it uses, instead of ayin, it uses the aleph for the shava part here, but it still would be pronounced as Shua. And so that's one of the meanings really of the word Shua, would be vain as well. It actually means to when Yahuwah said, "Don't take my name in vain," the word actually translated to, it would be to mean desolate. It also means to falsify. In other words, don't misrepresent my name. Don't falsify. That's a commandment that's been broken how many times when you think about how that the Creator's name has been substituted with the word Lord. Well, that makes it desolate. We don't recognize it. We treat it as that it doesn't bear the importance that it should, and that's taking His name in vain. But going back to this right here, and then we're going to stop here and pick back up on our next session. But the going back to the word here, it's going to give you from the Strong's Concordance, from the name Jesus, it's going to refer you back to let you know that it originated, or in other words, its original name. And this is something that's crazy, is why did they change the name in the first place? And why didn't they you did not have to go into Greek and Latin in English to get to the Mashiach's name. It's a Hebrew name, but you can use English letters to make the sound. The Yahusha. Let me show you here. Okay. If you can see this is the letters Yahusha. That's how you pronounce these letters right here that are in Hebrew. This is your modern Hebrew script here. This is the first three letters, and by the way, Hebrew reads from right to left, opposite of the way English does. But from right to left, these first three letters is the Yod, the He, or the Ha, and the Ua. I call it U. In modern Hebrew, this letter is referred to as a Wa or a Vav, but in ancient Hebrew, there was no V or W sound. It was a U sound. We're going to prove this out later and show you more about that. But Yahu, the next two letters, the Shin, it looks like a W, but that's actually the Shin represents like the teeth. You make the sh sound, and that's how they made that letter to look like your teeth. The Ayin is the last letter, and or Ayin is how it may have been pronounced in ancient Hebrew. But Yahusha, it makes the Ah sound. Yahusha is how you would say the Mashiach, the Messiah's name, pronounced as Yahusha, is the way you would pronounce his name. We talked about the original name of Joshua was Husha. That's how his name was pronounced. These are the letters that you would find for Joshua's original name before it was changed by Moses in Numbers chapter 13 verse 16. There's the He or the Ha, the Ua or the U, the Shin and the Ayin. You would say it Husha. It's the only difference between here and this name here and this here is the letter Yod right there at the beginning. It makes the Yah sound, so Yahusha. That was Joshua's original name, but it wasn't Hushua. It was Husha. So we're going to get more into this, and we're just taking this one step at a time. I know you got a lot of questions. You'll say, I've already gotten some comments and people saying, well, what about this? What about that? I just can't, deal with everything on a short 5 or 10 minute broadcast here, but we'll get to everything, I believe. If not, then we'll just, continue to send me a message and let me know. If I don't know, we'll just pray about it and seek Yahuwah about it. So I enjoyed our time together. This is a blessed, nice, prosperous day out here. It's about 72 degrees. However, the weather's going to change quite a bit the next day or two, they say. But while we have this good weather, I like to do the recordings outside. And so thank you for our time together. I hope you're being blessed. Let me know that you are. If you're enjoying these, please let me know. Let me know you're understanding things. If you have a question, let me know. I'll try to answer them. Sometimes I can't get to you right away because I'm trying to. If I stopped and answered every question, then I couldn't stay focused on what I need to really bring out. And you'll find I probably would answer your question if you just stay with us and listen to the next teachings that we have coming up. So I love you. Yahuwah loves you. And till next time, shalom.